Hare Krishna. So there's a question that can you please describe something about the spiritual world? And also can you tell us that if someone goes to the spiritual world, will he come back to this material world again? So this very important question is answered by Krishna in Shloka number 6. So let's see that now. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yadgatva nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So here Krishna is saying tad dhama. That dhama is paramam mama. So that abode is the supreme abode or my supreme abode. He is referring to the spiritual world. And then he is saying that supreme abode of mine, natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah. Bhasayate. It's not illuminated. It's not illuminated by Surya, sun, Shashanka, moon, Pavakah, fire or electricity. And then he says, Yadgatva na nivartante. Anyone who goes to that abode will never come back to this material world. So both the questions are answered. First, tell something about the spiritual world. So that place is not illuminated by the bulbs of this material world, the sun, moon and the electricity and fire or whatever. And second, anyone who goes there will not return to this material world again. So a very nice shloka which will help us to get some desire to go back home, back to Godhead. So let's understand the shloka in a deeper way now. So this spiritual world, the world which belongs to the Lord, everything belongs to the Lord, but then the spiritual world that is there, that is meant for all those beings who have attained perfection, who are in the mood of service to the lotus feet of Krishna. So that abode is self-illuminated. See, in this world, we have a sun, which is self-illuminated. But the various other things which are there, those are not self-illuminated. The planets, the planets on which we live and other planets which are there, so those are not self-illuminated. So we need a sun in this world. Why? If sun is not there, what happens at night? It's pitch dark. So this place is naturally dark. So we need some artificial lights here and there. And so Krishna has given us that sun. So in one universe, there is only one sun, which illuminates the different planetary systems. But then when it comes to the spiritual abode, all the different planets which are there, all the different Vaikuntha planets. So for our information, we should know that in the spiritual abode, there are innumerable, infinite number of Vaikuntha planets. And the topmost Vaikuntha planet is called as the Goloka Vrindavana or Krishna Loka. Now, we have to understand here one thing, that all these different Vaikuntha planets, they are self-illuminated. And this self-illumination is there, and along with that, we also have to note that the effulgence that is coming from the body of the Lord or from Goloka Vrindavan, that spreads everywhere in the spiritual world. So in this way, the spiritual world is self-illuminated. We don't need anything extra from outside. No extra fitting is needed, to illuminate that entire place. So it's self-illuminated. Here it is said that the part of, so when I say that the entire illumination coming from Krishna or from Goloka Vrindavan, that spreads everywhere, it means it spreads in material world also. But then what's happening is, the Mahat Tattva or the material covering that is there, that covers this entire material existence. And then when it covers, it's a thick covering. So the light cannot enter. So that's the reason this place, this material world is dark. So Lord's 1/4 of the creation is material world and 3/4 of it is the spiritual world. So this place is called as Ekpad Vibhuti. That is 1/4 of the creation of the Lord. So this 1/4 of the creation of the Lord is covered by the material covering, and therefore the Brahma Jyoti or the effulgence coming from the body of the Lord or Goloka Vrindavan, that does not penetrate here. And so it is pitch dark and we need a sun. And at night we need our tube lights, bulbs and halogen lights, etc. Here it is said that as long as the living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world, but in his liberated state, he enters into spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full of knowledge. A very, very important point is made here. That is, when we are there in this world, we are conditioned. We are conditioned to do what? We are conditioned to lord over the material nature. Natural tendency of a living entity is to exploit this material nature. For what? For one's own sense gratification. Proof for this is, anything that we see good in this world, we think, how can I get it for myself? Any nice juicy fruit that is there, or any nice preparation that we see, immediately the mouth will salivate. Why? That thought, it's ingrained in us. We are conditioned. Conditioned for what? Conditioned to enjoy whatever is available around. Some people don't know about this, and some people are so foolish, they explicitly say, oh, everything is made for my enjoyment. Especially people who eat non-veg. They are the ones, no, everything is for my enjoyment. No, Lord has made for me only. This is called as stupidity. Everything that is there, it belongs to Krishna, and everything should be used in service of Krishna. So what is the difference in the attitude of a person here in the material world and the attitude of a person in the spiritual world? The difference is, the person in the material world is always having that selfish motive or tendency for one's own sense gratification. And a person in the spiritual world has got a selfless service attitude. His only goal is, how can I give pleasure to Krishna? And here, how can I give pleasure to myself? So in this way, there's a huge transformation that happens when a person starts practicing devotional service. From selfish sense enjoyment to selfless service to Krishna, to gratify Krishna's senses. So this is the huge transformation, the paradigm shift that happens in a person's life when he starts practicing bhakti. So our job is, we have to practice bhakti very, very intensely. Very intensely. We cannot do any time pass. We've got a very short time, and in this short time, we have to purify ourselves, and this transformation should happen. We need not do anything extra. We have to just keep doing the devotional service, the sadhana that we are doing every single day very nicely. We cannot slacken at any point of time saying, okay, let me take 2 days off from sadhana. It doesn't work like that. We take 2 days off and maybe it will extend to 2 months and 2 years and so on. So there is no break. Uninterrupted and unmotivated devotional service will actually satisfy us. Here it is said that one should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to the eternal abode and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. Naturally, we have got so many desires. Naturally. What are the desires? I want to enjoy this, I want to exploit this, I want to do that, I want to do this. Everything for my own sense gratification. But then one desire should be there for devotees. Others we don't know. But for devotees, if that person can be called as a devotee, then he should have one desire. And what is that one burning, intense desire in the heart? That is, when will I attain Krishna? I want to attain Krishna this life. That burning desire should be there that I want to attain Krishna. Without that burning desire, a person cannot be called as a devotee. Each and every devotee should have this burning desire to attain Krishna. And with that burning desire, the person, when he does devotional service, it will be very, very effective. So all of us, the only goal that is there for all the people who have got this human form, all the living entities who have got the human form, is to go back home, back to Godhead, to serve Krishna. So we have to aspire for that, very simple. So we have to aspire that when will I attain Krishna? When will I attain Krishna? When will I attain Krishna? This question should be ringing in our minds all the time. When will I attain Krishna? And one should have a strong determination that from my side, I'll do everything possible to attain Krishna this very life. And if Krishna is pleased, he will take me this life. If he is not, then I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. But then this goal is very clear, that I don't want anything else in life, but I want to attain Krishna. This has to be very clear for devotees. So here it is said that naturally one will be very attached to the material world. But then, when someone has such a desire, and when he associates with devotees who have such desire, and when he practices devotional service, naturally the detachment will come. So association with such people is very, very important. So we should find out, we should seek for such association where devotees are hankering to attain Krishna, who are very, very sincere and serious in their practice. Such devotee association will pull us up in our consciousness and take us to the next level in devotional service. So this intense burning desire is very, very important. The burning desire of attaining Krishna. When will I attain Krishna? Every nook and corner is the property of Supreme Lord, but the spiritual world is paramam, full of 6 opulences. So that place, we cannot compare. No? This material world is kachara in front of the spiritual world. It's like huge. 3/4 of the creation is 1/4 of the creation. It's a very small place. It's a very dirty place where people die. That is the place where there is no question of janma, mrityu, jara and vyadhi. So one should aspire to go to that place. Not that because there is no birth, death, old age, disease. Because Krishna is there. To serve Krishna, to be with Krishna and do and assist him in his various pastimes. One very beautiful thing about the Vedic scriptures is, the Vedic scriptures are consistent when it comes to the description of anything, be it material world or spiritual world. So here there is an example. In Katha Upanishad, similar description is there about the spiritual world. The verse goes like this: Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. So again, there is the same thing. There is no need of sunshine or moonshine or stars in the spiritual world. It is self-illuminated. Self-illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and by no other means. So we can go to the spiritual world only by doing devotional service. The result of devotional service is surrender. And then we can be with Krishna in the spiritual world. So we should continue practicing our devotional service with intense burning desire to attain Krishna. This is what is the point that we are trying to make here from the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Now there might be a question again, that why is it that so much of stress is given, go back home to the spiritual world? Why? We can't be happy here? We can't be satisfied here? If so, then what is the reason that only by going to spiritual world will be satisfied? Only by connecting with Krishna will be satisfied? So this particular question is answered in the next shloka. So let's see that in the next video. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna